but I wanted to go to the formatting. I'm going to, by default, you should always use Excel formatting if you want to keep the Excel formatting you have done for your worksheets. If you choose otherwise, you would choose to use cell styles. And if you use cell styles, SmartView will handle formatting. SmartView will format cells and replace the formats present on the sheets. Um, I have not so specific, but I have a cell style defined. If I want to change it, I can do a click. I don't remember. If I want to change it, I can change the background. Where is the background? This is for the policy. This is for police. I think I can select the background. Where is background? Yes, I can choose to have this different background. Oh, I cannot have at the same time. Um, yes, you can change either to have the font change or to have the background change, but not both at the same time. But in fact, I wanted really to display differently the cells that are writable. And inside this menu for the cell styles, I can have some formats for the member cells that are the members for the dimensions, and I will have a specific formatting for child and parents. Parents will be in bold and child in blue. And for the data cells, it means the numeric or missing values, I just want to see what is writable differently with a yellow formatting in the background. Um, but SmartView also proposes to have a formatting for dirty cells. It means that the cells that were not exported to the cube. But, that will be. If I click on my options, I will apply the options for that sheet and that sheet only. And it's important to know that you can use the options, but you will always you cannot change the options for a sheet that is not connected. This sheet is connected to Demo Basic, and I can change the options for it. If I create a new sheet, if I go inside the option, in fact I do nothing because my sheet number 4 is not connected. Let's go back to sheet number 3. Now, if I click on refresh, it will apply the formatting as I asked, and you can see that these cells are all writable for me. Maybe because of the rights I have, I can, but I will go and write some data at a lower level. And if I want to send some data, you can see that the formatting has changed because this is a dirty cell. It means the data is here, but it's not inside the cube. And if I go inside the Airbase menu, if I do the action to submit data, the data is logged, sent, and also the data is refreshed and retrieved for the grid. All the three actions took place all at once when I click submit data. And you see that my cell is not dirty anymore because the data is inside of the cube. If I do another one, maybe not the same data, you see that the formatting, maybe it's not, maybe you don't see it. It's a different yellow than the one below and above because it's dirty. And if I submit it also, now the data has changed and now it's the same format as the rest. Um, Something more in the Topaz world I wanted to show. Uh, for instance, let's see. I'm going to unconnect and I'm going to connect to actual. I'm going to use maybe a different user. Sorry. I'm going to connect to actual cube. And I want to do, let's imagine I want to submit data. I wanted to present that there's a way inside SmartView that you can find out where the open month is. What is the phase open currently inside the actual cube? Let's do it. If I go inside SBase member selection, uh, I don't know, for instance, what is the month open in actual. I can to open a phase in Topaz in on the actual phase. It means that both year and time are open for that phase. And if I go, I'm on the time dimension, and if I go to the UDA, I'm going to find the list of the keywords that enable to open enable the administration to open P&L. P&L is for all the cubes at the profit level. It could be budget, it could be LE1 or for LE cube, it could be even dummy or actual cube. Now I'm going to see that for the P&L cubes, open actual is open for the houses. And what is the feature? I can see that it's October that way. So the months with the property open for actual for houses in the Topaz in the P&L cubes is October. And also for year, I have to check at the same time that inside the year dimension, inside the UDA, I want to find out if I have the same feature open P&L actual house 1. And if I have, then I have a crossing. I have a crossing between year 2016 and October year to date. Then I can be sure that if I have both inside year and inside time, I have for these two members have the same property, open P&L act house, and it's open for the phase actual, then input act or input adjust. Um, I'm going to apply the same option. It means to use the cell formatting, the cell styles. I'm going to zoom in at the bottom level. Yes, I need to find my way. If I use my cell formatting, I might be able to check. I will use the expand all for domestic. To go more, I will use euro, CMHC. What could be the country? Um, I have to tick the case. And what will be the product? We'll use the expand all feature. If I refresh, I should observe. Not so far. I should not be in euros. That's the point. That's the reason why I cannot see any open for. Yeah, and here I am. Now that I've arrived at this level, I could display it in codes, but I can see the cells I'm entitled to write in. I can see that these are the cells, these are the levels and the crossings I'm entitled to write on. Maybe let me hear you. Do some of you have questions so far? Maybe not related to what we've seen so far. Anyone? Okay. That I hope that was clear about how to use the cell formatting to find out to how to where you are entitled to write, to check if you are entitled to write and to submit data. Okay. Um, a nice feature also. Um, it took us some time. Uh, let's imagine something. I'm going to unconnect this worksheet. I'm going to delete the metadata for that worksheet. It means the sheet number 4 is not connected anymore. I'm going to rename it input act, or I'm going to name it data actual. If I go to my document contents, oh, I have a question from Martina. I'm going to end this this little demo and see your message, Martina. I can see in my document contents that this worksheet data actual is not connected. You see that the sheet data actual is not in the list. It's not connected. Let's imagine I have some data here. I want to send. Let's imagine a big amount here. It's the same thing inside the options, inside the cell styles. For the dirty cells, I should choose something else. I'm going to refresh it again, but what happened? But yeah, my cell is not, my sheet is not connected. Then if I input something, a SmartView doesn't tell me I've created a dirty cell because the cell is not dirty because the sheet is not connected. So if I change some data here, you see that nothing changes on the format for that cell because it's not a dirty cell because the sheet is not connected. So let's imagine I want to send this data, but when I'm going to connect this worksheet again, I don't want to lose. Let's imagine I've created several entries, and I don't want to lose the three cells here. I'm going to change the layout. I don't want to lose these datas because I've made some inputs, and when I'm going to connect, I don't want to lose these manual entries I've done. I'm going to use a different feature here beside. I will not use ad hoc analysis. I will use specifically, maybe it will not be at the same level for you, or it might be sometimes a little lower. I will use a feature to set active connection for this worksheet. It will connect the sheet, but it doesn't apply a refresh first thing. It means that the data, if you see that now I've had to refresh the contents. My sheet named data actual is connected, but I have not lost the entries I had made. And now I'm in the possibility to submit data right now. Even if I go to my sheet info, it's a bit strange because I can see that my sheet is connected, but the sheet type is empty so far. It's not for the moment. It's not really an ad hoc grid. Um, I'm going to. I'm not really. I'm not really fond. I don't really want to send data in production anyway, but I could, and I could submit data. And if instead I do a refresh, now I think my sheet info has changed from empty to ad hoc. But this is because of the fact that I've made a further action after having used the feature to. Sorry, I will display it again. Because I had done something else after having having set an active connection for this worksheet. Maybe I will have a little comment here. The feature to calculate here. This is not the same thing. It could be the same thing, but it's not the same thing as the calculations you can run from the Topaz tool. With SmartView, the use of Topaz tool remains because your profiles are not awarded or entitled to run calculations, not outside the use of Topaz tool. This feature here to calculate, it doesn't replace the Topaz tool. It could, but it would involve to change completely the way of granting rights to people. I'm going to go back to your message, Martina. Martina has a question. Can we connect to a base and avoid that SmartView retrieve the sheet automatically? Oh, thank you for your question, Martina. You can see that it's a good coincidence because I think I've answered your question, and it's good, I guess, right? That is what it was a good thing to present. This is the way to use set active connection for this worksheet is the right way to avoid to have a first retrieve or first refresh first thing when you connect a sheet. You would have had first refresh if you had chosen to ad hoc analysis to click on ad hoc analysis.